Welcome back, everyone. It's January 1st, 2025, so it is the first hunt of the new year. As we started out today, it was raining in town. As we got out here near the farm, it turned into snow, so it's actually been snowing here for a little bit, it looks like, so we've got a little bit more than a dusting out there. We're sitting near the edge of the pasture where I've been seeing these deer come out kind of midday. And that's about what time it is now. It's a little after noon. So we're going to sit here for a while. And if it keeps snowing and building up, I'll probably move back to the redneck blind just in hopes that those deer are going to keep coming in and digging up the bulbs that are left out of the turnips. So it seems like when we start to get some snow and it's tough for them to pick through into the native grasses around here, they like to end up in the food plot picking out the turnips that are left over. So we'll probably move over there about 2:30 if we don't have any action here. But I'm going to keep my eyes peeled here. We are in a wooded area right on the edge of the pasture, so if something happens, it might happen a little quicker here than the spots I've been hunting previously. But I'll spin the camera around, show you what I'm looking at here, and then hopefully we'll have some action. So we just moved blinds, didn't see any deer moving over there at all, and I think that's because there's this storm blowing in, so we got a lot of snow coming down right now. It's very cold, the wind's whipping, so we had 40 degrees and raining the last couple of days, and that shifted over to snowing and wind whipping, so what I'm thinking is going to happen is those deer aren't going to be out in the pasture. We've got just enough snow where that'll probably make digging up the native grasses over there difficult. So I'm guessing they're going to be shifting their patterns back to hitting the leftover turnips over here. So we're back in the redneck blind. We're near the turnips, and I'm expecting that those deer will come by here like they did last week when there was snow on the ground, and that should put them in range. So hopefully we'll actually get a nice mature doe in range today. So it's a little after 4, and this wind is still whipping. I'm actually worried that if I stay here, the deer won't move until right before dark, and I'll end up getting trapped in here again. So I think I'm going to take off for the day. I'm not sure how much more time I'll have to come out and hunt. I had a break from work, but that's coming to an end. I'll be back to work tomorrow, and then my weekends look pretty busy. But I'm hoping to get out here at least one more time this season and try to take a doe. So I'll keep you posted on that. If you're interested to follow along, make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you back on the next one. Welcome back, everyone. It is January 11th. We're back up here at the farm property. We've got quite a bit of snow since the last time I've been out. We probably have about 8 inches out in the field there. It's been snowing pretty hard. We did get a couple days there where it didn't really warm up, but the sun came up, so it did pack in a little bit. So we probably had about a foot for a while, and with that little bit of sun, packed it down to about 8 inches. So these deer pretty much had to come into the food plot here and scavenge to try to find much in the way of food. We had some pictures last night. These deer been out over here. So we're set up on, it was an area that the brassicas grew really well, had quite a bit of turnips in here, so there's a lot of bulbs left over, and they're picking through those right now. So that seems to be the main food source in the area with all this snow. The snow's not really hard and crunchy yet. It's never, like I said, it never really warmed up that much, so we're still have some soft powdery snow. These deer are able to dig through it, which is good. Also good for the turkeys. But we're set up here. We're expecting these deer. They'll probably start working their way in around 3:30 to 4. It's about 2:30 now, so we're going to hang out, probably catch some little ones coming out here pretty soon, and then hopefully the older does with their fawns will start funneling in. So sit back, and hopefully we have some action today.
All right, we got some good blood and hair. Looks like she pulled herself over here and ran. I wasn't able to see what happened because I was trying to reload my gun, so we're gonna go take a little look here and see if we can't find her.
Welcome back, everyone. It is January 20th. Today is the last day of the Flintlock season here in Pennsylvania. Well, at least in the area that I live. There's a couple areas near Philadelphia and Pittsburgh that will stay open for a couple more weeks, but around here this is our last day. So I want to talk a little bit about the hunt we had there last week and just kind of go through what happened. So everything kind of went as planned. Those deer started to come out. They got close, and I tried to move into position to get a shot, and that one deer knew something just wasn't quite right, so it took off running, cleared the field out. Well, it didn't completely clear the field, I guess, right? Those deer ran over, got along the edge of the woods where they felt a little safer, kept feeding there, and then after a little while they decided to mosey back in front of the blind. So everything kind of worked out as I was hoping. That big doe came out. She was feeding there. She kind of knew something was up, but never could quite get a fix on me. I had moved back into the blind, so the first time I had my gun sticking out the window, and I'm pretty sure that's what that deer had noticed. So after that, I decided I'm going to put my tripod up. That death grip tripod that I have seems to work pretty well. That way I could stay completely inside the blind, and they wouldn't be able to see me moving in there. So that's what I did. Those deer were coming out in the corner window, and I probably could have taken a shot there, but I decided I was going to be really patient, try to let that deer get as close as possible. So finally it fed in front of the main window I had right out front of the blind, and got it all lined up, and I took the shot. So this camera, my main camera, it turns out was focused on another deer, but I did get it on my GoPro on my head. So what happened there, I took the shot, and deer went straight down. So I got my main camera here, swung around, pointed at the deer while it was on the ground, and hate when you make those back shots and they go straight down. They're trying to pull themselves across just on their front legs, but that is what happened. I hit her a little high. So after I got the main camera here focused on her, I needed to reload. I was going to get reloaded, run out real quick, and finish her off. Well, I was fumbling, made the mistake of not having my stuff laid out like I should, and while I was fumbling, she got up and ran away. So as I was reloading, I took a look back out in the field, and I noticed she was gone, and I was trying to figure out if she had buried herself in snow or if she had made it out of there and took off. Once I got out there, I realized, oh no, she'd got up and ran away. So typically with a shot that deflects off the back, it means one of two things happened. You either hit the top of that spine, it smacked into the bones on the back, but didn't break their back, right? So that's what happened on this deer. The second thing that can happen is you can hit them just below it, and that will take out the lungs. Okay, so I've heard folks say that there's a dead spot between the lungs and the spine. There isn't. Nothing inside of an animal is wasted. Wouldn't make any sense to leave a void inside your body, right? Humans are the same way. We fill up every part of our innards with some sort of organ. So there's no dead space in there, nothing like that. But if you hit below the spine, but it's close to the spine, it can also knock them down. If they can recover within 30 seconds, they'll get up and run away. But they'll only go a little ways before they expire. Just because you hit them in the lungs, they can't bring in oxygen, and they'll die that way. So I decided it's got to be either that deer has gone another 100 yards and fell over dead, or this deer's probably going to survive. So I decided to follow it right there, tracked it about 250, maybe 300 yards into the woods, and the blood went from a lot of good blood coming out to very little. And that kind of informed me that I probably hit the top side of her spine. That bullet impacted the bone. That shocked her spinal cord. and basically just shut down all the neurons behind there, right? So everything from where I hit back just got completely confused, had no idea what was going on. Well, over the next 20 seconds, everything kind of goes back to normal. That deer starts to be able to feel its legs again, and it took off. You can see it was running kind of weird, and that's probably just because, you know, everything wasn't completely back online, but it was enough that that deer could run. So as then I started to track it further and further, I noticed those tracks went from that weird back feet landing together to the staggered that you expect with the deer. So tracked that for a while. Blood started to tail off, so I backed out. Actually, that night, I'm sitting at my house, just kind of replaying everything in my mind. I watched the video to make sure what happened, and it pretty much went down like I thought it must have in my head. But I got a picture from one of my cameras, and you can see she's there with her little one. And in one of the pictures, she's just standing there. You can see the hole where the blood had been dripping down. And then a little later, you could see her actually licking her wound. So that deer ran probably about 500 yards and stood there for probably 5-10 minutes. And then it heard me coming as I was tracking her, and they took off running. So as far as I know, and my assumption, I would be really surprised if I was wrong on this, is that deer is absolutely fine. The nice thing about this time of the year is actually because of how cold it is and how dry it is, probably not going to get infected. That deer's probably going to be fine. And that's not just my way of trying to cope with the fact that I made a bad shot, right? So I did everything up front that I could to get that deer at the range that I'm used to shooting. I'd shot my gun. Right? That deer's probably about 40 to 50 yards. I've made that shot many times. In fact, over the last 5 seasons, I've been skunked 1 year and I've shot 4 deer, made good shots on all of them. So it happens. Bad shots happen. I think in the GoPro video, you can actually see my head start to move up a little bit right as the gun's going off. Now, with that death grip, that tripod that I have, it should hold it steady. But still, that's, not a complete guarantee that I didn't pull the shot a little bit. And I think part of that was just waiting so long, waiting for that deer to come out, and I swung it over a little bit more to the right. Probably should have just waited a little bit longer, let her take a few more steps. She would have been right where the gun was pointing, and that would have been an easier shot. But these are the things you learn them over time. I'm 38 years old. I've been hunting since I was 12. I've learned a lot of lessons, but never stopped learning. So, didn't turn out how like I had hoped. Today's our last day out here. We're actually on the market property today, so we're not on the farm. But there has been some deer coming out to this small food plot that I have, and if they come through today, I'll expect them to be about 20 to 30 yards. So I don't have a tripod today, but I think we get them in close. I'll keep my head buried this time, and we'll make a good shot. So stick around. It's our last hunt of the season, and then we are back to habitat videos. So I have a lot of work to do out here. I'll pan around here and show you, but we have a lot of stumps. Need to cut and grind them. I'm gonna about triple the size of this food plot this year. So some of that is I want to enlarge this food plot so that instead of it being a small kill plot, it's actually more of a destination food plot. The neighbors have a cornfield. It's tough for me to compete with that right now with only half an acre of food plots. There are some times that the deer will hit this on their way to the corn, but still there's quite a few guys over there that hunt and they will shoot just about anything. So I want to keep these deer on this property as much as I can until dark. And then there's also a second reason. So the zoning for this portion of my property, so it's not the entire property, but it is a portion of it, the lower portion down here, it's actually been changed. So it's actually it went from kind of a planned development, and it was very narrowly scoped on what could go in here. It was basically a retirement home or some sort of hospital facility. Well, the zoning's been changed, and now it's open to basically any business. And I have no plans to sell this, but my thought is if I have a big open food plot and I need to sell this for some reason in the future, maybe there's a better chunk of property that comes up for sale I want to buy. If this is zoned for business and I have a nice open area for someone to be able to come up here and build what they want right on it, That should help me get top dollar. Again, I'm not planning on selling it, but if you're a landowner, you know how much money goes into that. You have to treat it like an investment, right? I mean, it's a investment that I want to pass down to my kids. And while I really like this chunk of property here and I like my neighbors, I have to be open to the idea that at some point, maybe there's another chunk that comes up that's even better that I could purchase, and then I could pass that down. So either way, I want to have something. You know, I want my girls to learn about land stewardship and how to take care of a property and just how rewarding that can be. But it doesn't necessarily have to be this chunk. So just want to keep my options open, and to do that, I have a lot of work I have to do this winter. So I will also be going over the plan for this property and the plan for the farm property. We have a lot of work to do on both. Bought some switchgrass. That's going to help me out on the farm. I'm going to use that around here a little bit. But if you want to see those videos, be sure to subscribe. And stick around. Hopefully we'll have some deer come through here, and we'll be able to get a buzzer beater doe on the ground. So stay tuned. Well, we gave it a good shot today. It's getting a little late. We still got a little bit of daylight left. If I end up seeing anything, I'll put it on here. But I want to get an exit interview before it gets too dark in here. So yeah, it's like, you see my breath. It's about 5 degrees out there right now. I think it is. It's supposed to get down below 0 tonight. But it was a good season. I had my chances, made some mistakes, but we learned from those. And yeah, I mean, it turned out to be a pretty good season compared to the ones I've had in the last few years. The snow came in right about the first of the year, and it's been here ever since, and that has driven the deer out to these food sources, so that's worked out in my favor. Now it's on to improvement time, so we'll be clearing out some more area to plant in, putting in some switchgrass here when it starts to warm up. And if you want to follow along with that stuff, or if you want to follow along with my flintlock hunting, so we'll be done with that for probably about 11 more months, but subscribe to the channel, and you'll be the first ones to see next year when I'm out hunting this again. So I hope you enjoyed, and you have a good one.